What's up, y'all? It's Miles the Millennial.
And it's your boy, Rex Howard Jr.
And this is Let's Talk Like Men, the podcast where we have real conversations, giving real advice to real men like you everywhere. And we're back today with another episode, Rex.
Yes,
How are you
sir.
doing, brother?
Man, I'm good, man. I feel blessed. I just got through celebrating my 29th birthday.
Yeah.
My lady planned us a trip to Austin, and that was absolutely phenomenal. Definitely something that I needed. So now I'm ready to get active. How you
Yeah.
feeling, man?
I'm feeling all right, bro. I've gone through a lot the past 2 weeks. We didn't record an episode this past week, guys, because sadly I had a tragic death in my life with two people very close to me. So I've been dealing with that grieving process, a lot of stuff that's been going on in my head, in my spirit, and my emotions. But, God has given me the strength to continue to push forward. He's blessed me. He's allowed me to get a sense of clarity on a few things. And I know I still have a long way to go, but with the support of Rex, with the support of my therapist, with the support of my friends and family, things are getting better. So continue to keep the families of the people that I lost in your prayers as we lay them to rest over the next week or two. Um, but life is still good at the end of the day
Yes,
because
sir.
I'm in the land of the living and I got an opportunity to keep going.
That's amazing. Something I want to add to that, and this is for all the listeners out there. We're going to go through phases of grieving throughout our life, right? Whether that's losing a family member, whether that's losing a relationship, whether that's losing a job or even a pet. I just want to encourage you and remind you that in the process of grieving, make sure you maintain close relationships with your support system.
Mhm.
Make sure that you maintain your faith. Make sure you maintain your relationship with God, and make sure you maintain good spirits, because it's so easy during the grieving process to revert back to who you used to be, to revert back to using drugs, to revert back to smoking, to revert back to drinking, to revert back to using sex or different pleasurable things to please your flesh so you can forget about what's happening in the moment. But I want to remind you not to take that route, because that route isn't going to do anything for you. That route is going to make you kind of bypass your grieving process, and it's going to delay it until it hits you some random time.
Yeah.
So definitely continue to pray for you, brother. And anybody out there that's lost any loved ones or in the process of grieving, you are in our prayers as well.
Absolutely. And Rex, warned me about that. My therapist warned me about it. And it's funny because that's exactly what I went through. As you guys know, I've been going, I don't even know how many months it is now strong against my battle with porn addiction and masturbation. And, haven't done it in quite a while now. But literally, when this information, got received by me, probably within the next 48 hours, I was tested
Yeah,
severely with the desire to go back to those things because I knew those things would at least allow me to feel good in the moment,
absolutely.
right? I wouldn't feel any pain. I wouldn't feel any sorrow for those moments while I was, intoxicated by that addiction. And so I had to be strong. I had to remember what they said. I had to really say they wouldn't want me to go back from where I've come from. So I can't go back now. That's not honoring them and it's not honoring myself. So he's definitely right to be mindful. The last thing that I'll say about this is don't feel guilty for being happy
Yeah,
because that's something that I'm battling with a lot is when I have moments when I'm happy throughout the day, it's like, well, why am I happy? This just happened. Shouldn't I be sad right now? And something that my therapist told me is you need to enjoy those happy moments because you're going to go through a slew of emotions when you're grieving.
absolutely.
And the sadness, the pain, the sorrow, all those things are for sure going to come and they're
Right.
going to hit you hard. And if you bypass your happiness because you feel like it's unfair to be happy, then what emotions are you left to deal with?
100%.
All you have are those sad, angry, painful emotions, and that's going to deteriorate you. It's going to make life even harder than it needs to be. And you don't want to make life harder than it needs to be when you're already going through grief. So enjoy those happy moments. Do the things that make you happy. Go to your happy places. Do your happy things. That way, you can appreciate those moments. And then when those moments of sadness come, you can actually feel and appreciate those too because you have to go through them.
Absolutely. That's good.
All right, y'all. So we already kind of went into a little slew before, just in our introduction, but
Yeah.
it was a conversation that needed to be had, and it's something that we all face. But today we're gonna have an amazing conversation. We're having a new series,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Our last series was about the weight,
Yeah.
right? WEIGHT,
Yeah.
the weight of different things in your life, how they lay on your shoulders and make life harder than they need to be. But today we're gonna talk about something different,
Little
because
thing.
sometimes it's not the heavy stuff that weighs you down and makes the difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the little things that make all the difference. So Rex, came up with the idea for this series, and I think it's going to be an amazing one. So Rex, I want you to kind of give a little introduction on why it's important that we talk about these little things.
Absolutely. So You know, as a marriage counselor,
Hmm.
I run across a lot of couples on a day-to-day basis, right? And you often hear it's not the grand things that make the most impact, it's the little things,
Hmm.
because it's the little things that's going to make your partner feel loved, feel appreciated, feel wanted, and it's also the little things that's going to make your partner feel like they're abandoned or you're disconnecting from them, right? Sometimes a lot of men like to dive into, all right, if I need to do something for my partner, I'm going to buy them something grand,
Hmm.
but they don't get the good response that they're really looking for,
Yeah.
like they get when they write her a letter
Yeah.
or leave her a note or just give her a kiss or a pat on the butt when they're walking past her in the kitchen, right? So I wanted to come up with this because we're going to break it down in so many levels. The little things that helps a relationship fail, no, it helps a relationship succeed.
Yeah.
The little things that makes a relationship fail. The little things that men need. The little things that women hate that men do,
Hmm.
right? The little things that can help you develop. I
Yeah.
had a question the other day. A brother asked me, Rex, what do I do to prevent myself from backtracking and falling back into my old ways?
Mm.
And the little things popped up to me again. So that's what I shared with him. And I said, you know what? God kind of put it on my heart for this series to be what we have next. And I shared it with you and you agree. So that's kind of what this is about.
I love this, man. This is going to be an amazing conversation because I know for the both of us, and I think everybody can attest that you go through life thinking that the big things are what are most important, but those aren't the things that upset you,
Yeah.
and those aren't the things that upset other people. They're not the things that make you happy on a day to day basis. It is the little things. So, without further ado, man,
Hey, let's
let's talk
talk
like
like
men.
men. Yes, sir.
All right, boom. So, let's hop into our hot topic before we get into our main discussion. And this is a little bit of a rant, right? Y'all know me. I'm gonna have a rant probably every month. I'm gonna have something that just be weighing on my heart that I need to get off. And it's also going to be a little bit of a lesson that we're going to talk about. And what we're going to talk about is bitterness,
Yeah.
right? I see a lot of bitterness in our comments all the time, coming from both men and women. And quite frankly, it's sad and it's disappointing because a lot of people believe that bitterness that they don't have it, right? That's not what they're feeling. That what they're feeling is simply the truth and nothing but the truth and the only truth that matters. But one thing that we've talked about on this page before and that we've learned in life is that two things can be true at once, right?
Yeah.
You can be right that you were done wrong in certain circumstances, and you can also be bitter. You
Yeah.
can also have allowed those circumstances to turn you sour,
Yeah.
right? So what I mean by that is we had a video up that went viral on another page that you had posted. That was about you talking about how you had gotten into conversation with your lady, and at a certain point, you felt yourself getting agitated, and you were raising your voice, and you noticed that as you were raising her voice, she didn't engage in that behavior with you, which is what you were used to from
Right.
growing up. You were used to the women in your life. That's how y'all talk with each other. Y'all yell, I yell, you yell. That's how the conversation goes. And she didn't do that, right? And you had to be aware enough in that moment to realize, like, yo, this isn't an okay form of communication for her. And therefore, it's also not okay for me to continue to carry.
100%. Yeah.
Right. And so you lowered your voice, learned that that's not the way to progress forward. And you move differently now. You learn from the situation. We had so many people in the comments just, oh, this is horrible. Why were you yelling in the first place? Why this, why that? As if, first off, people don't have their own trauma and toxic ways that we all have developed over the course of our lives. So
100%.
apparently they're perfect. And then two, not recognizing that it's not about the fact that you did something that was wrong. That's the little things,
Yeah.
right? The big thing is, oh, he yelled. The little thing is, but wait, does he recognize that this isn't okay? Can he learn from it and not do this ever again?
Right.
Because that's what makes the difference. It's not yelling one time that ends a relationship. It's yelling every time y'all get into any type of confrontation.
Absolutely.
But bitterness doesn't allow you to see past that. Bitterness does not allow you to grow because it turns you sour. So I just wanted to kind of throw my thoughts in about that because I'm just kind of sick and tired of so many bitter people ruining it for people who have fertile soil and they want to grow.
Absolutely. It's like bitter people want you to be bitter with them. Bitter people can't be happy. And if they can't be happy, they don't want you to be happy. So if they see you make a positive post, if they see you do something good, if they see your relationship is flourishing, they're looking for every reason for it not to flourish.
Yeah.
They're looking for every reason to point something out that isn't perfect, right? And that is toxic.
Yeah.
that's like something's really going on with them mentally.
Yeah.
And I challenge you, if you are a bitter person, if you feel like you have a lot of resentment in your heart, if you've been done wrong by your partner or by your parents or by just life, and you feel like you've been given an unfair hand, then I want to challenge you to do the work on that thing. I want to challenge you to go get help on that thing. I want to challenge you to talk to somebody, to talk about the where your heart is, right? Because right now it's hardened.
Yes.
Right now, it's so hardened to the point where you are want to project your feelings and your emotions and your negative thoughts and beliefs onto everybody that you come across. But that's not going to make your situation better. That's just like a kid that grew up being bullied
Yep.
by his dad or by his older brother. The only thing that he's going to do is bully somebody else.
Yep.
But when you finally sit down and talk to that kid and he finally expresses himself, you realize that it's a like defense mechanism,
Yes.
right? So if your bitterness is your defense mechanism, I want to challenge you to work on that. And if you're in the state of Texas, listen, give me a call.
Yep.
All you got to do is go to resolvecc.com and book a session. I'm more than happy to talk to you through your bitterness and help you navigate so you can find fulfillment and happiness and enjoyment in the little things.
Absolutely. And this ain't just for women, because I know that circumstance was a lot of women saying this, but we see it all the time with men too, all the time, where you have positivity in the atmosphere, something about love, something about believing in this person, something about how women can be this positive aspect. And the men are just, women don't exist like that. Oh, this dude's a fool. Just wait for it. It's like, bro, you're bitter.
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen for you, now it doesn't exist. Now
Right.
all women are this way. And women do the same thing. Because it didn't happen for you, now all men are this particular way. If you can't discern between people that actually are trying and are doing things to be better and learn from their mistakes, and all you can see people for is their mistake, then that is a clear sign that your heart is poisoned right now.
Yeah.
That you're not in a place that can look at things from a glass half full perspective. And what do you expect is going to continue to come in your life?
Right.
That's the question that I have for you. Is if you say, well, that's, yeah, that's exactly how I see it. Okay, well, don't expect love. Don't expect healthy relationships to form in your life. Don't expect anything to change from what you've had in the past because you're letting all those past situations continue to live in your life. They have grown roots in your life. And if you don't come pull those weeds out, then every single nutrient you try to pour in, it gets sucked. The life just gets sucked out of it, bro. Weeds take the life out of everything in a garden. And your heart right now is being poisoned. And so I encourage you, every woman, every single man, if you got bitterness on your heart, go do what he said and go get some help. I'm going to give you a verse really quick because it was funny. I went to church right after that post went viral. I went to church last Sunday, and this was a scripture that was said in there. You talked about the fact that because your woman had a very soft and feminine answer, or her response was very soft and feminine, that it calmed you down.
Yeah.
Proverbs 15:1. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger.
100%.
So if somebody is already mad and your bitterness says, well, I got to fight you back with more anger. You can't talk to me this way and I'm going to respond this way. Sure, that is one response that you can take, but you're not going to get peace on the other end. You might prove your point, but at the end of the day, you and your partner are not going to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Versus if you take a response, and this is not just for women, as a man, if you take the response of saying, I can tell you're acting irrationally. I can tell that you're emotional right now. I cannot stoop down to that level. I got to be the leader in this circumstance that says, hey, I'm going to take the high road for these words that you're throwing at me right now. And this is how I'm going to respond. That is how you get to a place to where people realize their actions are not okay.
Yeah.
And then if somebody can't figure it out, now you have the example of somebody who isn't fit to be in your life. But don't write people off just because they make the mistake.
Absolutely. That's good.
All right, man. That was awesome, bro. This first 15 minutes is going crazy. I'm loving it. So that was our hot topic of the day. We're about to move into our main topic, right? Which is the little things that men need from their partner, right? So we wanted to start this series with the fellas. This is Let's Talk Like Men. And guys, we know as much as we are accountable for us, we also need to be able to express the things that we feel, want, and desire.
Right.
So we're going to hop into a conversation. We're going to talk about the little things that every man wants out of his woman, right? That really helps him in his life, that allows him to be a better man, allows him to show up better in that relationship. So, Rex, I'm going to let you go first, dive in with your first point number one.
Yes, sir. So the little things, right? My very first thing is men need patience and understanding, right? Patience in knowing that there was a reason why you chose the person that you wanted to be with.
Yeah.
You saw something in him, right? Now, you got to understand, ladies, that we aren't operating on your time, we are operating on God's time.
Yes.
Right? We have our own personal goals. We have things that we want to do for ourselves and we want to do for you, we want to do for our families. But only God can answer when those things are going to come into fruition. Right? So as long as you are seeing your man move forward in the right direction, as long as he is making strides, as long as he is becoming 1% better on a day-to-day basis, he needs you to be patient. We need you to be patient with us and not push us to be somewhere faster than we have to be. Right? Perfect example. What happens anytime you're forced to make a decision immediately, but that before you can process it?
You make bad
You
decisions.
make bad decisions, right? You make irrational decisions. You make impulsive decisions. You make decisions that may not be in the best interest because you didn't have the time to process it or you didn't have the time to become what you needed to become in order to make it happen.
Yes.
So, with that being the case, if I'm in a relationship with a young woman and she wants me to be wealthier faster, she
Yeah.
wants me to have a better career faster, she wants me to be a better father faster, she wants certain things in me faster than is meant to me to have it, then
Yes.
I may make rational, impulsive decisions that don't even align with what God wants for me or what I want for my family in general. So once again, if you see your man working hard, if you see your man striving in the right direction, then be patient. And then also understanding, right? Understand that God has given us a major responsibility as a man, right? To not only to provide infrastructure, but to be there physically, to be there mentally, to be there emotionally, to be the head spiritually,
Yeah.
right? We are supposed to be the head and you guys are supposed to be the neck. So understand that with this responsibility, it comes with its challenges. We may not tell you every single thing that we're going through, but just know that it's hard. And even if we are sharing things with you that we're going through, understand that it's a heavy load, but we're not making excuses about it. We just need that partnership. We just need that love. We just need that push. We just need that patience and understanding that although it's heavy, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to make sure that we are good. But without the patience, without the understanding, that man can be pushed in the wrong direction.
Rex, you just said a word right there, bro. Because that reflects on so many circumstances that I've seen in my life and in other people's lives. And when I see relationships where the woman is super supportive of that man, is very understanding and patient with that man,
Yeah.
and it's reciprocal, I see that man make better decisions. I see him become wealthier. I see him become a better father. I see him become a better leader all around.
Yep.
When I see relationships or have been in relationships where it's all about comparison and she's constantly saying the things that she doesn't have but that somebody else got, or you're not here yet, why don't you have this? I need a man that can do this and do that for me. When it's always I need a man that can do this, I need a man that can do that. All that does is add pressure.
Yeah.
Right? All that does is add weight, like we talked about in our previous series. And like you said, when you're under that type of pressure, when you're under that type of weight, I can never show up as my best self.
Right.
Right? I need a partner who reassures me that things are going to be okay, that you got my back through thick and thin. I want a relationship to where when we walk into the doors every single day into that household, I know I can let my guard down.
Yeah.
Because I have a woman that is patient and understanding. And I can say, baby, this is a hard day. I wasn't successful today. There ain't nothing like that feeling of disappointment when something don't go the way you wanted it to go and you worked real hard for it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that feeling. But imagine the feeling that you would feel as a woman if you had that disappointment and then you couldn't go tell your partner about it. You went to your man about it and he just told you, well, you're going to have to figure something out
Yeah.
because we got bills to pay.
Yeah.
We got this, we got that. Instead of being somebody that was patient and understanding enough for you to say, hey, I know how hard you tried for that. I know that this is disappointing. I felt like you were super prepared. I felt like you deserved this. But that's okay. We're going to figure out a way to be a teammate, a helpmate,
Yeah.
versus being somebody that's always trying to chastise, quick to be impulsive and irrational with me. And now I'm carrying that out into the world. So having that just reminds me of this word that my favorite word right now in relationships for a man and a woman is grace. Have grace.
Yeah.
Because we aren't perfect individuals and we are on a journey. And if you only take people for where they're at right now and you're not appreciating the little things that they're doing to get to another level, then you'll never see who that person can become.
Absolutely.
I ain't talking about potential that's untapped because they're not even working. I'm talking about guaranteed results that are going to happen if somebody's doing the little things.
100%. And I think about it like this. I didn't grow up around a lot of successful couples, but the ones that I did grow up around, they started in high school or early college. before they got the bag,
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
they stepped into their full mature bodies, right? Before their voices changed, before they had all the knowledge and the wisdom that they currently have. Their partners were patient with them,
Yep.
right? But once again, the thief of comparison is a thing that messes a lot of things up. You're looking at other people's relationships. You're looking at other people's timelines. You're looking at other people's 10 years versus your 1 year.
Yes.
So if you're not patient or understanding, that can cause a lot of conflict within your relationship. And there are men, right, that are going to step up to the plate, and under pressure, they're going to make it happen. But the only downside of that is their mental health in the process of them making it happen. That goes back to the weight again. What does it help me to make sure you have everything you need, but I am dying?
Suffering.
I am suffering. I am going through it, and mentally, I'm not in a good space, right? So once again, my first point is to continuously be patient and understanding with the working man, with a trying man, with the man that shows effort. I'm not speaking about a man that ain't showing up. I'm not speaking about a man that ain't doing his job. I'm not speaking about a man that doesn't know how to communicate his vision, his passion, his purpose. I'm not speaking about that man. That's another episode. Speaking about the man that's showing up.
Go back and look at the signs that he ain't the one.
Exactly.
You want that response, that's where you go.
100%. What
But
you got for your first
I
point?
love
brother?
that, bro. That was awesome. My point number one, a man needs a woman that is willing to initiate intimacy and be spontaneous herself.
Okay, talk to me about that.
So a lot of times the weight of initiating sex, right, is on the man, right? You got to set the mood. You got to set the scene. You have to come on to your woman, touch on her, feel on her, let her know that you want it, right? You have to go out of your way to let her know that you desire to have sex, you desire intimacy, you desire to be touched and felt, right? And I mean this on all forms of intimacy. But there ain't nothing like when you come home from work, your girl in the kitchen, right? Or she laying on the couch and she excited to see you, right? And she run up to jump on you, right? You can see it in her eyes that she's been waiting on you to get home all day. There's nothing like the feeling of when you chilling on the couch and you've had a stressful day and your woman come up and she just starts kissing all over you, right? She holds you. She wants to be felt on, letting you know that you are desirable in my eyes, right? Nobody wants to always be the person that has to seek that answer, right? Is she feeling me right now? I don't know. Does she want this? We ain't had sex in a couple weeks. I know she been having some stuff going on. Does she still like me? I done gained some weight. The money a little short this month. Does she still want me? It's nothing like when your woman has the initiative to initiate that intimacy with you, where she does spontaneous things, right? And we can think of a lot of those spontaneous things and a lot of those spontaneous ways that can happen. But long story short, what I'm saying is those things make a man feel alive. Those things make a man feel like he would a woman that would choose him over any man any given day, right? And so that is a pressure if you're always as a man having to initiate those things, and it can get boring. It can get mundane. It can get played out. And so I encourage women to think about the ways that they can be intimate to their man. And that's not just physically, there's mental intimacy, ways that you can stimulate him that allow him to know that, like, baby, I still want you and I still desire you in these ways.
Absolutely. So you're speaking on desire and, well, not only desire and initiation, but also knowing that there's reassurance that your partner still wants you and actively likes you.
Yes.
Actively loves you.
Yes.
Because if they don't get that, it can come off as a task.
Yes.
It can come off as a task. And if your woman, if you are the person that's never initiating, then if you really don't enjoy what your partner's doing, if you don't like what your partner's doing, if you don't think that he's taking the right route, but you're not communicating those things, then it can definitely feel like a task for you. It can feel annoying for you. It can feel like he's always wanting to touch you. He's always needing something from you, but you just don't want to give it to him. And if you do give it to him, you're not present in the moment. So to prevent that, if there's still desire, if there's still if there's still interest that you have in that partner, exactly what Miles said, sometimes be spontaneous, sometimes initiate it. Let him know that you are interested. Let him know that you do want him, that you do desire him, that you do still find him attractive, right? So that's really good.
Let me tell you something. Gloria ain't never lied when she said, I'm looking good as hell today. I just sent my man 5 attachments. Hey, look, man. Ain't nothing like when you get them blurry pictures on your phone. You're like, what's this?
I'm telling you.
That does something for you. It doesn't just get your mind racing and your body racing, it gets your heart racing.
Yeah.
It gets your spirit connected. It allows you to feel something that you haven't felt that entire day. And probably in a minute if you haven't got them in a while.
Yeah.
There's something about the fact that somebody was thinking about you enough to say, look, I want you.
Yeah.
I want you right now. And I'm not, look, I'm here, I'm focused. This is what I desire.
Yeah.
And you know that it doesn't have ulterior motives. You know that it's not because she trying to get some money out of you after it's over with. Oh, baby, can I go shopping? This and no. Just because I love you.
Yeah.
Because I desire you. My body aches for you. And so just think about that, women. Send that man them attachments because I guarantee you when he come home, he gonna make good on your word.
Yeah, I'm
Just make
telling
sure you ready. I was watching Nightcap, bro. That man Ocho said that his fiance was talking crazy because she was off the wine. He said he was ready. He got in the bed. He was waiting on her to come home, and then she got in that bed and she fell asleep.
Man, sick.
I'm telling y'all, it's nothing like the feeling of that intimacy, that spontaneousness to know that you desire us. So just
Exactly.
carry that.
So last thing I'm gonna say to that point, right? Ladies, remember who your partner was before you. Right? This isn't something that I want you to ponder too much on or to feel disrespected by. But if you have a person in your life that's an attractive man that carries himself well, that speaks well, that's passionate and just really adamant about making things happen, and he was that guy, right? Whether that was because of his character, whether that's because he was an athlete, whether that was because his connections or because of the family that he comes from. But if he was that guy, just remember that he has been desired by many women,
Yeah.
right? By many women and many things for many different things. So if he is choosing you to be his partner, if he is choosing you to be his helpmate, if he is choosing you to be his wife, and he's showing up and he's doing the work and he's improving and he's a good husband and he's a good boyfriend or he's a good fiance and he's a good leader, that desire that he got used to get from the world, he only wants that desire from you.
Yes.
And if the person that he desires the intimacy from, the admiration from, the love from, the connection from, the initiation, the spontaneity from, if he desires that from you and you're the only person that's not giving it to him, the world is going to start getting loud again.
What?
The world is going to start peeking in his ear again. The people at his job. Now, mind you, is that a good thing? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's not. That's something he should refrain from doing. But the flesh gets weak.
Yep.
It gets vulnerable. When the main person that I've aligned with, the main person I said, will you marry me to, has no longer desired me the same way that she desired me before, if that goes away, then everything else becomes complicated. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's a point right there. That's a million views on that one. Calling it now. Calling it now, Rex. Whoa, man. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
But as soon as you said it, I was like, I know exactly where he's going with
Yeah.
this, bro, because that is absolutely the truth. You can't deprive a man like that of that feeling of desire. And I'm not saying that you give it up every single time he asks for it, but what I am saying is that man should never walk out that house feeling like my woman don't want me.
Man,
That shouldn't happen.
at all.
He knows what it feels like to be wanted and desired. And if you send him out there and he doesn't feel like he got a good woman to come home back home to, a woman that treats him well and loves him and desires him in all these different ways,
Yep.
whatever woman he comes across that gives him that feeling, she gonna have a little bit more of his attention.
Yep.
Like they said, that's how them work husbands and work wives. That's
Yeah.
how that stuff happens.
Yeah.
Because they're coming to work and this person pays attention to the little things.
Yeah.
What?
I'm telling you. Now,
He oh, your hair look good today. She thinking about the fact her husband hasn't complimented her hair. She got it done a week ago.
yeah.
He picked up on it immediately.
Yeah.
You know, the lady walking, man, your cologne smells nice today. My woman ain't told me I smell good and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Those are the cracks. And when there's cracks, people will do everything to fill them. Don't forget that people would die to have your man. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
There are women that would kill to be in your position. Treat that man right.
Exactly. And the last thing I'll add to that, it's not only people that you have to worry about, it's things.
Yeah.
Right? A man that isn't desired at home is going to find desire in the world. So, for example, let's just say golfing is his thing. He only golfed on the weekends, but you may find him out there in the golf course more often with his buddies if he doesn't have that desire at home.
Yeah.
If he only works 40 hours a week, you may notice that he's working 50 or 60 hours a week, picking up overtime because he feels that desire at home. I mean, at work. So just remember, it's not always people that may desire him as well. It's also going to be things that he desires. And if he's not getting that desire from you, he's going to find it somewhere else.
Love that, bro. Let's run on to your point too, bro.
Exactly, which kind of goes into what we just talked about. Show him constant admiration, right? Admiration as often as possible. So admire the things that he's doing. Give him those compliments, right? Talk about how you like that he fixed something, how you like how he looked, how you like the new outfit that he chose, how you like his haircut, right? Talk about how you like the way he picked something up, like just the most randomest things, like, and watch how his world lights up, watch how his face lights up, watch how his mood changes, watch how he starts to do the things that you've been asking him to do because he feels admired by you, right? Whenever you're sitting in the car, passenger princess like you normally do, and you put that hand on his lap, he gonna look over at you, give you a little smile.
Now don't put the hand on the lap, rub that ear.
Right. So just imagine what happens when you give him this constant admiration. Now, once again, we aren't talking about the man that's not doing what he's supposed to do. We're talking about the man that's showing up, the man that's loving you, the man that's caring for you, the man that's doing the things that you always wanted him to do. Give him that admiration that he needs and that he desires, because he's going to, as much as he may hear from people outside the home, it's only going to hit different when he hears it from you. It's going to be special when he hears it from you. Like E.T. said something one time. He said, I don't care if people tell me that I'm a good man, but when my wife tells me I'm a good man, right? When my wife tells me I'm a good husband, when my wife tells me I'm a good father, that makes me show up even more. So just like women need admiration, men need the admiration as well. And even the men that aren't used to the admiration, if you give it to him, it may feel uncomfortable for him because he's not used to somebody putting all their attention on him. He's not used to the compliments. He's not used to the love, right? So he may feel squirmy. He may not receive it well at first. But if you continue to do it, you'll learn that he loves those words of affirmation. He loves it when you look at him with those sparkly eyes, or like when you show for him in ways that nobody else has showed up for him before. So just remember, the admiration is supposed to be constant and is very necessary.
Yeah, and ladies, this is just a little trick for y'all. Men, women, everybody is this way, but I'm just going to use it because I'm talking to you guys right now. Men are like pets. We're like dogs, okay? You want to teach us something, positive reinforcement will get you everything you want. If you want a consistent behavior, when you're training a pet, right, Rex, you have a puppy. Well, a big puppy. She grown now. But when you're training Xena, right? When she does something wrong, what do you have to do?
Reinforcement.
Yeah, negative reinforcement, right? Show her this is not okay. But when she does something right, what do?
Yeah, positive reinforcement.
You got to give her something positive. You got to praise her. You got to give her a treat, whatever it is. Knick, knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Right? But men are the same way. And people can make whatever comments they want about that. That is human nature. People need positive reinforcement. And so that praise, that admiration will make a man go way harder. If he did something once that you really liked and you praise him like it was the greatest thing in the world, you're going to get that very thing all the time. Praise him. Don't take any little thing for granted, because the things that you take for granted, he's going to say, okay, she doesn't like this. She doesn't care for this. This doesn't really get the result that I'm looking for out of this. I was hoping that when I went out of my way to change that oil for her, that she was going to come back and feel like I was a really good provider, that I was a man that was solution oriented. And she barely said thanks. You know, people need that. And so I'm going to be vulnerable with y'all, man. I'm going to tell y'all something funny, and I hope my girl don't kill me for this. But one of my favorite things is when she kind of talks to me like I'm a little kid, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll say, oh, my little hustler. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my speaker baby. Little things. She'll say little stuff like that, and I'll be sitting there just soft heart.
Never wear kinky, ain't it?
Hey, bro, I don't mean it like that. But my heart, bro, my heart really does get warmed by that, because every time she does things like that, it just makes me feel an undying sense of love. Right? Like an undying sense, unwavering sense of just, passion and joy and support
That's
out
good.
of this person. Um, and so every man needs that. I just wanted to, I was a little vulnerable right there. Don't hold that against me, guys, but I'm just saying it
That's all
works.
love, brother. All right, man. What's your second point?
All right, my second point, a man needs a woman to be a praying woman,
That's
right? A
good.
woman of God. What I mean by that is this. When I'm going through situations and things are happening in life and we're a family unit, um, and even as a boyfriend, girlfriend, my mindset a lot of times is going to be trying to figure things out, right? On my time, on my schedule, right? I'm so stuck in my own way that I'm not realizing that at the end of the day, God has the final say.
Yeah.
And when you have your woman sit there and say, I'm going to pray for you.
Yeah.
When you have a woman that sit there and says, hold on, babe, before you leave, let's talk to God about this plan. Let's put this in front of God and see what he has to say. Not only one does it show that she cares about you, but two, it reminds you of where you're supposed to be in alignment with God too.
100%.
Because you're supposed to be having that conversation. You're supposed to be going to God about your plans and your thoughts and your actions before you do them. But sometimes we get so caught up in trying to figure things out on our own. Sometimes we try to play God.
Yeah.
And so the reality is you need a woman that can put you back in position,
Yeah.
that says, hold on, before you leave, let's have this conversation with him because it's not on our timing. So it gives you that reassurance, it gives you that support, it reminds you of where you're supposed to be. But if you don't have a woman who has that relationship with God, who doesn't desire that relationship with God, then you're going to always feel this constant pressure from the world and from man to figure it out by yourself
Yeah.
versus having the support of the Almighty Father to really be able to take you where you want to go.
Oh, that's a mouthful in itself, brother. Like it it's a next level feeling
Mm.
when your woman prays for you,
Yeah.
right? One thing my lady and I do is we pray every night,
Mm-hmm.
right? And typically I'll lead it. I'm like, all right, babe, let me pray for us before I go to bed. Do you have any requests? So we'll say our prayer, or I'll say the prayer, and then but it's certain nights where she may know that I'm having a hard day. She may know that I have a lot on my mind, and she was like, I'm going to pray tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But so when I pray, I feel a sense of calm, a sense of peace. But when she prays, it just hits different.
Yeah.
And for me, it's knowing that she knows how to pray.
Mm-hmm.
I run into a lot of couples, and I ask them about their prayer life or their spiritual life, and they always say, "Yeah, I pray for my partner in my head,
Mm-hmm.
right? I pray for my partner when I'm by myself." I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "When was the last time you prayed for them in person?" No, we don't really do that. It's one. It feels different
Yeah.
when you do it. It feels different when you hear it. It feels different when you have a woman that knows how to intercede. It feels different when you have a woman that knows the language of prayer, that knows how to connect with God. And then when you see things come into fruition that she prayed about,
Yeah.
oh man, it just that's when everything comes to alignment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And just realize that you said this before, a lot of problems that we face aren't our problems,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's us against the problems.
Yep.
But we're supposed to be in covenant with God.
Yep.
So if it's us and God against the problems, there's nothing that we can't face. There's nothing that's too big. There's nothing that's too strong. And we can do every single thing because we've been equipped with the things that we need.
Absolutely. I love that, man. And sometimes, there's moments where we're not going to be walking a godly path.
Right.
Like life gonna get you. The devil good at what he does, right? He can tempt you in a lot of different ways. And I'm not speaking just sexually. I'm just mean in general. The devil can tempt you to walk a life that is not in line with God in certain aspects. You might not be as consistent in your prayers you need to be. You might not be showing up as loving as you need to for your partner. You might not be as focused as you need to be, whatever it is. When that woman can sit there and recognize that, okay, I need to put God in this circumstance,
Yeah.
because there might be a time where you're not realizing it and you're not picking up on the fact that God isn't here. You might think that, oh, I'm doing what God told me to do. And that's not what God told you to do.
Right.
She got to have a relationship with him to be able to know and discern that, hey, this is not the path that he's supposed to be walking.
Yeah.
And I need to pray for him. I need to pray with him. I need to cover him, to go to God about this situation, because sometimes we're not going to be able to leave that circumstance because we're going to be weak in that particular area,
Yeah.
and we're not going to recognize it ourselves. So it's all about, everything else that we've talked about. When you have a partner, they can pick up in moments when you're low. They can be strong. But how can you be strong with God if you have no relationship with him? And I'm the only person that has it. So a man needs a woman that got a relationship with God, that is a praying woman, and will go in his stead before the Lord.
Absolutely. And last thing I'll say, because this is an episode for men about women.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I want to say is this, man, it's your responsibility to set that standard, though.
Yeah.
Right? It's your responsibility to set that standard. Now, it's a beautiful thing to find a praying woman.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing. But you need to be a praying man.
Yes.
You need to be a man that not only says, no, I have faith, or not only says, no, I pray, but your woman needs to see you actively living out the things that you talk about.
Yes.
So if you have a standard of praying for your woman, if you have a standard of listening to gospel music, if you have a standard of living and walking in faith, then it's easier for her to step up and to initiate.
Absolutely.
Because she's seen you do it.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, if you're putting the onus on her to always initiate, you're putting it on her to be the prayer for the family, then you're already out of line because God gave you that responsibility.
Absolutely. I
So
agree.
just, fellas, that's for y'all. Just keep that in mind.
Absolutely. What's your point number 3, man?
Man, point number 3, the little things. Be creative and intentional. Right? So as you know, a man would do anything for a woman that would show him that she's willing to do whatever for him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys a quick story about something my woman did, my fiance did.
There you go.
That absolutely just blew my mind. And this was my last birthday, right? And this year too. I'll give you 2 stories. So the very first thing, I met my lady on December 1st, 2022, right? December 23rd of 2022, I was inside the mall, and I was at the fossil store, and I was on FaceTime with my lady. And while I'm on FaceTime with her, I'm showing her these watches that are on my wish list. And on your wish list, you have some things that are cheap, you have some things that are mid-range, and you have some things that are kind of pricey. And I showed her my top-of-the-line watch that I absolutely wanted, right? Fast forward 9 months later, my birthday comes August 9th. She plans it. I get into the room. She has a box on the bed, and on the bed, I open it up, and it's a fossil box. And I'm like, she got me a little watch. So when I opened it up, I realized it was my favorite watch. It was the watch that's on the top of my list. And I looked at her and I said, what made you do this? She was like, well, remember back in December?
Yeah.
We was on FaceTime and you was in a fossil store and you showed me your watch. I took a screenshot of that watch and because I knew I was going to get it for you. But we were 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
So that's what you call intentional.
Yep.
Right? And then when it comes to being creative, this past birthday that I had just a couple of days ago, she asked me, like, are you excited about it? I was like, I mean, I am, but I don't really have any plans. She said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll plan it. I ain't never had no woman plan no birthday for me.
Yeah.
I've had them give me a gift.
Yeah.
I've had them give me a cake.
Yeah.
But to plan it, not only plan it outside of the city, but she took care of all the details. Right? Babe, this is where we're going to be staying. This is the itinerary for the weekend. This is our breaks. This is our downtime. Right? And this is the times that we're going to go out. And I'm thinking to myself, like, to have a woman that cares that much, to have a woman that's creative, that is that intentional, it makes you do even more.
Yep.
Right? And so I'm sitting at dinner just looking at her like, man, this is going to be my wife. Man, this is a woman that I would do absolutely anything for because she showed me that she's sacrificial. She showed me that she's loving. She shows me that she's intentional. She showed me that she's willing to do things for me that nobody else is willing to do.
Yep.
So when you have a woman that's creative and intentional and that will show up for you in ways that nobody else is showing up for you outside of just buying the basic stuff, a lot of women will get the boxers or get the socks or the small stuff. But when you think about the things that he talks about, when you think about the things that he desires, when you think about the things that he watches and you keep note of it, just like we keep note of those things for you, it just makes us feel
I love that, bro.
special.
I love that, bro. Let me ask you a question, though.
What's that?
Is it just for the birthdays that you realized that she was that intentional and creative woman?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, this is what she just did this past weekend when we got back from Austin. And, I like to meal prep, but sometimes I hate cooking, right? So, but I'd be having groceries in the house. So I said, hey, babe, I got to go to work. I'll be back in a few hours, so just don't leave and go home just yet. So I leave. I come back. The aroma. I'm like, that smells good. That smells good. And she got a whole meal prep, right? I'm talking about baked chicken marinated in gravy and bell peppers and onions and rice. And I'm just like, Ooh,
Yep.
wee. So, and not only did she have that prepared, but she had my meal prep containers lined up, and
Mm-hmm.
she already packaged my meals for the week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what?
Yep.
So it's outside of the birthdays and the holidays. It's in the day-to-day operations. It's
Absolutely.
making me feel special, making me feel admired, making me feel desired, making me feel that love even outside of my birthday. So,
It's
yeah.
the little
Shout
things.
out to my fiance.
It's the little things, y'all. That's the thing. He brought up those examples because, those are very big examples. But if she only did it on the birthdays, I promise you he wouldn't be this excited
Mm-hmm.
about it. He's excited about her. He's vigorous about her and intentional about her because she has made that a part of who she is on a daily basis when she encounters him.
Yeah.
Right? And more than likely she was probably already that way, just
Yeah.
as in general. But regardless of whether she was that way before she met him or became that while she was with him, the fact remains that she does the little things.
100%.
And so, ladies, the little things matter, man. And we appreciate that. Like we said, like Rex has already said, the man that's doing his job, the man that is showing up and taking care of himself, taking care of other people, he is going to appreciate any woman that comes into his life and adds value.
Yeah.
She takes something off of his plate. She makes something that he was designing look a little bit better, right? I understand completely where you're coming from, man.
Yeah.
Because it really is the small stuff that just make you be like, this is my wife.
Yeah.
I can do life with this person.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think people have to realize when you think about a criteria, like, is this person husband and wife material? I need you to ask yourself, when you look at this person, do you see somebody you could do life with?
Life.
Life. That is
No.
a myriad of things.
Yeah.
Not just one thing. Not just, oh, yeah, he can pay the bills.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she can cook. No, I'm talking about, can they go through death with you?
Yeah.
Can they go through poverty with you?
Yeah.
Can they go through wealth with you? Can they go through birth? Can they go through problems with children? Can they go through selfishness? Can they go through anything that happens, health changes?
Yeah.
Can they go through all these things and you think this person would still be somebody you love
Yeah.
and that would love you? And I always think about it like this. I think that the best thing that makes relationships work is the in spites.
Mm.
The in spites. What I mean by that is, in spite of the fact that I didn't show up as my best self today, she loved me.
Yeah.
In spite of the fact that she had to work a little harder this month because things was tough on our end, she still loved me. In spite of the fact that the kids was acting up and they got in the way of us being able to have our time and intimacy with each other, she still loved me.
Yeah.
Relationships are built on the in spites because there's always going to be something that gets in the way.
Yeah.
And you got to love that person in spite of every single challenge that comes.
Yeah.
So I just want people to remember that. Ask yourself, do you got an in spite partner?
100%. No matter what partner, I will go to the depths of earth partner, of life or death partner. Like,
Yes.
that's good. What you got for your last point?
Man, my last point kind of works a little bit with what you were saying. A man needs a woman to be a sounding board. If you are a creative man, if you are a man that got vision, passion, ideas, things that you want to do in your life, you have all these things running through your head. You need some place to put them out. You need somebody to express them to. And there's no better feeling than when that person is the person you spend the most time with, the person that you love the most, the person that you're the most intimate with, your woman,
Yeah.
right? When you can come to her and say, this is what I'm thinking. And she can assess that and say, all right, baby, I hear what you're saying. I like the idea. Let me ask some questions.
Yeah.
Right? What would you do if this happened?
Yeah.
How are people going to deal with this circumstance if they come into your customer portal? What happens when you have to fix something? How quick is your response time? The color scheme that you're using, do you think it fits with the message you're trying to convey? What's the design for this? Where do you see this going? Can it scale?
Yeah.
How much time is this going to take out of your life?
No.
When she can ask those questions, when she can validate if something is right and poke holes in things that need help, it allows you to not run in this life alone.
Yeah.
To realize that you have a true support system. I don't need an executive board of 10, 20 people. I got my lady.
Yeah.
She gonna keep it real with me more than any of y'all are. I don't have to question her motives. I don't have to worry about her expertise. I don't have to even think about what at the end of the day does she have to gain out of this.
Yeah.
She just want to see me win. She want to see me succeed.
That's it.
And If a woman cannot be that type of woman, if I throw my ideas at you and you either never have something to say or what you say is not constructive, well, then now I have to go look for that elsewhere.
Yep.
It's another form of deprivation.
Yep.
And as you said, I'm gonna keep running this because Rex done put me on with it. When somebody is deprived, bro, they're
Yep.
going to seek it out in other places and in other people.
Yep.
And you don't want another woman to be the one that your man runs to every single time he got an idea.
You don't.
You sitting there at the house, why you been on the phone with Allison for the last 4 hours? Oh, I was talking to her about this, that, and that. Well, why didn't you ask me about it?
Yep.
You're not gonna like that answer when he comes to you and says, well, because every single time I give you an idea, you just shit on it. You
Yep.
shoot it down. You know, every single time I come to you, you never have anything constructive to say. Whenever I speak on this particular passion that I have, because you don't see it for me, you don't give it any energy.
Yeah.
And you just, oh, okay, for sure. I want you to be passionate about what I got going on in my life. I want you to be my sounding board so that when I come across things in my life that I care about, you can bring me down to earth or you can elevate me to the moon, whichever one I'm in need of in the moment.
Yep. That's absolutely amazing. That's exactly what every man needs.
Yeah.
Every man needs and every man desires.
Yeah.
Right. And even if, there's going to be strengths in your relationship that your woman has and she's going to be able to poke holes in it. There's going to be some things that she can't.
Yeah.
Right. And it's up to you to understand who your woman is.
Yes.
Right. So that's really good. Good thing that you have a business savvy woman. You have a creative mindset woman.
Yes.
Same thing for my lady. Just the other day, a conversation that we talk about, of course, social media, business, entrepreneurship, family, things like that. But I was on the phone with her, and she had a podcast playing in the background. It was over finances and investing and saving. And then she sent me something not too long ago about mindset. So that's another thing. That's a little thing. If you and your partner are on the same page and you guys are headed in the same direction and you guys want to have a growth mindset and not have a fixed mindset and you want better for yourself, you got to continue pouring into yourself, continue seeking new knowledge, new information. It's one thing for you as a man or as a husband, as a fiance, as a boyfriend to always teach your partner something. But when you're able to go to your partner and she's able to teach, when she's able to pour back, when she's able to add context, when she's able to add depth to the conversation, oh, now you guys are working with something. So that's good.
And the thing is, sounding boards provide reinforcement to a mission, bro.
That's good.
That's the thing that people got to realize when your partner, when as a man, your woman is your sounding board and you know that she down and she knows the cause, she knows the mission, she knows the vision. That's going to provide reinforcement in those moments when you're slacking on what you need to do because life is just hitting you. She going to tell you, come on now.
Yep.
I know you can do this.
Let's get right.
Right? Let's go ahead and get this together. She gonna be tough when you need somebody to be tough on you.
Yep.
She's also gonna tell you when she sees you trying so hard and you're doing a great job, but you're wearing yourself out. Baby, take some time for yourself.
Yep.
Right? Don't let these people run you into the ground. You need to take some time and focus on you. She gonna do some things to help you out with that, right? Like cooking those meals, like you said. Small things that are gonna make a difference. That reinforcement is necessary because if I have to fight it all on my own, I'm gonna have diminishing returns at a certain point.
Yep.
At a certain point, I'm gonna be running on fumes, and I'm not gonna be able to be my best self. But when I have a woman that knows what I'm working towards, I tell her that I'm about to do an audio book. I just got to figure out the ways to put it together, and then I get a TikTok a day later that she sent me about somebody sending 5 steps to creating your audio book. It's like
already ahead of the game.
I appreciate that because you're reinforcing the mission, you're reinforcing the vision and where I'm trying to go. I don't need somebody that all we can talk about is the drama in the world or our problems. I need somebody that can also pour into me about the good things, about the perspectives of life that I'm trying to reach and the goals that I have for myself. And so you need a sounding board. If you don't have a sounding board as a man in your woman, it is going to create a hole that we've talked about that other people are going to be able to get into and other things are going to get into. You're going to seek it other places. And your woman is supposed to be a helpmate for a reason.
That's good. That's real good.
All right, y'all. So that was our main topic for the day, guys. We're about to move into our Let's Talk letter. It's one of our favorite portions of the show where we really get to answer questions, right, that have been submitted to us, and we can use them to give advice to not only this person, but perspective to you because you might have gone through something like this or maybe actively dealing with something like this. So we have a letter submitted today. I'm going to read it, and we're going to give our advice.
Yes, sir.
Ready, Rex?
Let's get it.
All right, cool. Topic is, how do you show your boyfriend you are angry at him? Brief story. Me and my boyfriend were planning to go on vacation to one place, But unfortunately, I was put on work for these days. Plus, I've been sick since our last trip. My boyfriend and I don't text each other much, only for meetings, since we spend so many of our days together. And it was my surprise when he posted a photo on Instagram that while I was at work and sick, he went with a friend to the place we planned to go together on those exact days. It really upset me as he knew that because of work I couldn't go anywhere these days, and I really wanted to go to that place. So I feel a lot of resentment, but I don't know if I'm being overdramatic. I don't really have any experience in dating. How do you usually deal with resentment towards your boyfriend? Do you tell him right immediately what upsets you, or do you hold it in?
That's a really good question. And this is something that's very common in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Short answer, right? First, I want you to think about what is it that you're feeling,
Mm.
right? And that's why with every single couple I have and individuals that come into my office, I hand them an emotional wheel
Yeah.
that has at least 30 to 40 different feelings on it. So you can identify what it is that you're feeling. Do you feel disrespected? Do you feel abandoned? Do you feel neglected? Right? Do you feel like what is it that you're feeling? Because it's more than just anger.
Yes.
So once you understand what you're feeling, then you got to ask yourself, what is it that I needed from my partner, or what is it that I'm needing from my partner? Do I need to feel included? Do I need to feel considered? Do I need for them to consult with me about what they're dealing with or why they want to change plans before they change them? You want to ask yourself these things before you go to your partner.
Yeah.
Because if you are impulsively speaking on what you feel or how you felt about what he did without rationalizing or without thinking about it, then what you're going to find yourself doing is spitting out a whole bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Right? And that's going to cause an argument.
Yes.
So we have this technique called a communication tool called I feel blank when you blank and I need. So in her situation, it could be I felt abandoned or neglected when you went on that trip without me. And moving forward, I need you to communicate with me more about that so we don't have a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
Right. And that can be a way that they can work through that, but she should never hold it in because all she's going to do is continue to, once again, build those bricks.
Yep.
And between every single time she feels resentment, every single time he does something she doesn't like or doesn't agree with, there's going to be another brick if she doesn't communicate what she feels
Yes.
or what she needs.
Man, you're spot on with it. And you're absolutely right. You do need to be careful about how you approach and when you approach your partner about something that they did that upset you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes right in that moment is not the right time.
Right.
Right? There's a lot of times where I may be upset because I'm out with people. And let's say my girl says something that I just really don't like. It made me feel a type of way. Right now is not the moment.
Yep.
One, we're not about to be out here arguing in front of people or look like we're not, on point in front of these people. We can talk about it when we're in private.
Right.
But two, I'm about to dampen the whole mood. We're in a state, we might be drinking, whatever is going on, where it just doesn't make sense to have a calm and collected conversation. Three, I haven't even had time to evaluate my thoughts in its entirety to really determine how much do you care about this situation? Is this just something that you care about right now? Because if I wake up in the morning and I don't care to go talk about it no more, and it really doesn't weigh on me like that, then it probably wasn't something that I really was that upset about. But I know if I wake up in that morning and it's still weighing on my heart, this has some validity. This has some value. This wasn't just a spur of the moment thing that I took the wrong way.
Yep.
No, I really feel a type of way about this and I need to address it. And you need to make sure you're in the right space because somebody might be dealing with a lot in their own lives.
Yeah.
And if they're coming with a lot of stress, if they're coming with a lot of anger, anxiety, and you throw it in their face at the wrong time, then it's not going to work. You're not going to have an effective conversation.
It's facts.
So most definitely, you need to think about when to bring it up. But like Rex said at the end, unspoken resentment only makes things harder.
Yep.
It will tear apart a relationship silently. And before you know it, like Rex said, when you're building those bricks up, at a certain point, it's so tall that you can't even see your partner
Yeah.
no more. All you see is all the things that they've done, all the things that you've been holding in, these emotions and feelings. And so you have to speak on what you feel. Pick the right time, pick the right place, but not saying it at all is not an option. If you hold it in, it is only going to be something that every single time it happens, you're going to feel it. And when you finally do let it out, they're going to be like, whoa,
What is this? Yeah.
what is this? How long you been feeling this way? So most definitely speak to them, tell them, evaluate when you're both in the headspace. And one of the easiest ways that I do this in my own relationship is telling them like, hey, something happened that really upset me,
Yep.
and I really do want to express it to you, but I'm not sure if you're in the space right now for us to have that conversation. Do you feel like you can have that conversation right now, or do we need to hold off?
Yep.
And let your partner tell you how they feel. If they say, I really don't have it right now, I got a lot going on, but this weekend we can talk about it, cool. Respect that. But at the same time, don't be in the position to where people are always putting your feelings to the wayside. It
Exactly.
has to be a priority.
It definitely has to be a priority. And then another way that you can address this is just know that there's always a speaker and then there's always a listener. The speaker uses the opportunity to speak on what they feel, how they feel, and how they feel and why they're feeling that thing, right? The listener's job is to take in everything to make sure he has clarity. If there's not enough clarity, then they need to ask more questions. If they're not asking the right questions, then once again, there won't be enough clarity. If I'm only listening to respond, I'm never going to get to resolution. But if I'm listening to understand, then I can understand why you feel the way you feel. I can understand what you need from me. And then I can also validate your feelings and what you're going through. I can validate the fact that you felt disrespected. So keep that in mind. There's always a speaker, there's always a listener, and take your time with it and don't be so quick to respond.
I know we coming close on time, but one thing I wanted to add to that is it is okay for you to respect, validate, and honor somebody's feelings, even if you know that you didn't intentionally do anything to bring that up.
Facts.
Right? It is okay, guys. If you like, bro, I didn't say nothing that was disrespectful, but it made her feel disrespected. Apologize for the fact that it made her feel disrespected.
100%.
That goes a long way, bro. That goes a hell of a long way. But a lot of people will say, I don't feel like I said nothing disrespectful. And so they'll say, forget what you feel,
Yep.
right? Forget the fact that you're saying this made you feel disrespected. I don't feel like I said anything disrespectful. So I'm not apologizing for the fact that you felt disrespected.
Yep.
People have to realize that there's levels to communication. And if you really want to get to a place of resolution where people can understand each other, you have to address feelings first.
Yep.
You have to be in a space where you can take the time to say to that person, hey, look, I get these are the things you're feeling, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to make sure I have a full grasp of everything you're feeling. I apologize for the fact that, what I did here made you feel this way, made you feel this way. And what will happen is you'll notice that because that person now feels like you've acknowledged their feelings, they are more receptive for whatever logic, whatever explanation, whatever perspective you're about to give on the back end to say, hey, but my intentions were this. This is why I said this and where I come from.
Yep.
And if there's a better way for me to communicate that would help you, please let me know.
Yep.
So that way I can implement that. But I felt like the way that I said it was completely respectful and honored you.
That's good.
So, yeah. Well, that's our hot topic for today, man.
Yeah.
Or that was our Let's Talk letter. We're going to move into our final segment, which is our sponsors and where people can find us, man.
Absolutely. So if you're looking for me, I am Rex Howard Jr. on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and on Facebook. If you're looking for counseling or coaching because you want to become a better version of yourself, you want to learn how to get unstuck, you want to work through some of your trauma, whether that may be from relationships or from your childhood or just from transition in life, I want to help you, right? So all you got to do is go to resolvecc.com to find me and book a session.
Absolutely. If you guys are looking for me, at miles.themillennial on all platforms. If you need help, advice, and you're not particularly ready for therapy just yet, you can also come to me for life coaching on the platform Fellow. So you can find it. You can DM me about it, or I can send you information. If you go to myfellowapp.com, you can find me on there under relationships. I can give you relationship advice and personal development on anything going on in your life. Other than that, if you're looking for a speaker, you have young adults, students, or men that need help, bring me in, man. Let's set up a call. Go on my website, milesthemillennial.com. You can book a consultation with me, and from there we can discuss your needs and work out a good proposal.
Absolutely. Um, like, subscribe,
Yes,
send your DMs, send your questions, and we're going to be having access for you guys soon
yes,
to work with us closely.
absolutely, guys. We love you guys, and we'll talk
Yes,
to you later.
yes,
Peace.
sir.